What is ARTA? Okay, so this is one slide I always present, right? So ARTA again is RA 11032, and we are created under Section 17 of the Republic Act, right? So ARTA is really ease of doing business and efficient government services. Okay, so we have two mandates. Okay, our mandate is empowerment and enforcement. In empowerment, this is where we look at the processes, services of government agencies, and then we streamline it, especially if it provides undue regulatory burden. So what we do in empowerment, we streamline, we re-engineer, we improve regulatory management. So if there are existing regulations that's burdensome, right? So you report it to ARTA, and then we look at it, we assess it, and then eventually we recommend to the president either to take it out or come up with something new, regulations. And of course, capacitating stakeholders. Capacitating meaning we teach. I teach also. I teach how to streamline processes, modeling processes. And then on the other mandate, that's enforcement, right? So, I mean, given that RA 11032 is a law, so agencies need to comply with the law, right? So we have, like, for example, we have the 3-7-20 days. Simple transactions, 3 days. Complex transactions, it has to be 7 days. Highly technical transaction, that's 20 days, right? So if they go beyond it, right, you can report to ARTA. So the enforcement mandate will follow. They, we do conduct investigation, case build-up, and entrapment operation. The entrapment operation, for example, LTO, we did a lot of that, right? So especially mga fixers, right? Because fixers, that's really red tape. So pinapakulong po namin yan, right? So we did a lot already, right? And then of course there's some we're not very proud of it, but then if we need to execute, we need to implement, we have to. So there are also mayors that we send to jail, right? All right. And of course, the scope of work. What's the scope of ARTA? Our scope is 11,268 agencies. Dami, di ba? So because it's all government agencies under the executive branch, right? So that includes all NGAs, national government agencies, SUCs, all LGUs, meaning cities and municipalities, right? GOCCs, hospitals, government hospitals, and water districts, right? There are only four agencies, I would say, that we're not covering. But of course, these are constitutional bodies, like the Office of the Ombudsman, COMELEC, COA, and Civil Service Commission, because they're constitutional bodies. And of course, judiciary and legislative. So that's where some of the concerns happen, no? Kasi especially when it comes to the legislative. When you talk about LGUs, we can look into their regulations at the executive level. However, whenever they have legislations, they have laws, it's very difficult for us to question it, right? Because of course they invoke the Bandanas law. But here's the thing: so 11,268 agencies, but we're only roughly 300 ARTA personnel. So that is why we have to be efficient in what we do, right? So we call on partners, communities like, of course, RC Makati, Rotary Club, and of course, other institutions. Okay? To put into action our empowerment mandate, ARTA launched the Nehemiah program, right? So this is our flagship program, right? That aims to reduce processing time, costs, requirements, or procedures for key sector of society. So we have your telecoms, energy, logistics, housing, health, food and pharma, infrastructure, responsible mining, right? So agriculture, sustainable water, and then of course semiconductor. Semiconductors is new, right? But then coming from the president, this is something that we're really looking forward, especially this year. There are many investments, especially from the US. Semiconductors are coming. So that's why the president also, through the office of the president, mandated ARTA to put manpower into that. So we're working with DBM on that right now. Okay. So, however, in ARTA, we believe in transformative digitalization. Although there's a term digital transformation, but then we believe that we have to look at it from a holistic view. Look at the process, look at leadership, look at culture, right? Look at the people, right? Meaning, because, well, if you hear the word digital transformation, the first that comes to mind is digital technology, right? So that's always the default, right? So I want to change that mindset. So I came up with this term, transformative digitalization, because you have to look at it from a transformation perspective first. And then once you streamline your process, policies, train your people, then you come up with the best technology, especially with AI right now, right? So AI is here. So we have to look at it from a perspective that, are we ready, right? If we're going to get AI or technology, are we putting that in the right process? Because mostly what happened, even in the private sector, is that you get the technology and then apply it. You adapt your process to the technology, which is wrong, right? So you end up automating the inefficiencies, right? So ARTA's reform initiative. At ARTA, we've been working hard to make these improvements a reality. RA 11332 is a game changer law. This law mandates all government agencies to simplify processes, reduce processing time, and improve the overall quality of service. Let me highlight a few key EODB efforts of ARTA. Okay? Number one, Citizens Charter. All right, sorry. Go back again. All right. All agencies need to have citizen charter. If you're not aware of it, right? So you need to be aware that there is what you call a citizen charter. That's in the law. What does it contain? It contains, this is some kind of your contract between the citizen and the agency. All the services of that agency should be reflected there. How long does it take? What are the steps? What are the requirements? How much? Right? And who are responsible in executing that? So if they say that there you can get, let's say, your driver's license, you can get it in a day, then they need to fulfill that. If they don't, then you report to ARTA, right? Because the moment you report to ARTA, they're not complying to their citizen charter, then we call their attention, right? We call them, we summon them, right? And when then we report that to the office of the president as well. So again, another tool is what you call RIA, regulatory impact assessment. Very, very powerful. Every time that there's a new regulation by an agency, right, it needs to undergo RIA. Okay, so that's by law. In other words, your regulation, their regulation, need to be subjected to proper stakeholder consultation, cost benefit analysis. Very, very important. In other words, they can't just release a regulation without proper consultation. Diba? So we've seen regulations released before without consultation. We have to reverse it, right? We had to reverse it, especially when the clamor went to the Congress, to the Senate, but that came in late. So right now, we are empowering agencies to really align with ARTA before releasing your regulation needs to undergo RIA. Okay? All right. Next is the ARTA Reengineering Manual. So we have this in partnership with the UK government. ARTA publishes the whole of government reengineering manual. So this is free. Actually, you can even download it for free. So what it contains is a guidebook, a guideline. How do you re-engineer processes? It provides the tools and techniques, right? So because of the grant that we received from the UK government, we received this. So, but the problem, well, the challenge is the how. How are you going to execute? Because these are tools, right? How are you going to execute it? So that's where I come in, right? So when I came on board to ARTA, so I'm developing business process management, the transformative digitalization concept. Okay. And right now, we've streamlined and re-engineered. We conducted 14 already, WOG re-engineering, whole of government re-engineering and process streamlining workshop. This is a 3-day workshop with government agencies. So the first one I did was with BARM, Ministry of Interior and Local Government. So we'll have another one come first week of August, and that's going to be in Davao. But then again, the best way, efficient way for us to execute this is by sector, right? So let's say, for example, in the health sector, okay? or mining sector. So when you say mining, it traverses different agencies. Okay, NCIP, Department of Energy, Department of Natural Resources, DNR, right? And then of course many agencies. So because we've just discovered from the mining, for if you're an investor and if you want to set up your own mining business in the country, it takes you roughly, di naman siya 1,000, only 950 signatures. Right. So we discovered that. And around 300 plus steps. So that's really tedious. No, red tape, that's red tape. So the president said we have to reduce it. So we're working with the Chamber of Mines, right? And then all the different agencies to really cut down, especially the signatures. Imagine 950, right? So that's why it's very, very difficult to for investors to engage. Even though the president goes out getting investors, the moment they're here, they're having a hard time. So that's where ARTA comes in. But we need the expertise of everyone, of course. Okay. So the next is the so this is one. We released this. This is our first executive order, 32. Was really because of the pandemic. We realized that when people are locked in, okay, locked down, right? So they're at home, they're having a hard time to communicate, to connect to the internet. They're mainly because there's a lack of internet connection, connectivity, towers. So we tried to we there was a joint memorandum circular how to fast track the putting up of telecom towers. But then it was due to expire. So we created an executive order, which the president signed, okay, 2023, right? So that's July 4th, 2023. But because of that, you can see the result, no? The result right now. It's not yet perfect, but at least we're gaining traction, increasing our bandwidth, our data, right? So there's still some challenges, but at least we have this executive order. On ARTA's digitalization effort, we strongly advocate for, again, transformative digitalization, where we encourage government agencies to first streamline and re-engineer their processes and before moving towards full digitalization. Aligned with this approach, ARTA has also launched its own digitalization initiatives. So because of course attending Roger's class, we came up with our projects, which is really very good, and it becomes like an example to other agencies. One of which is eBoss, okay? Electronic Business One-Stop Shop. All LGUs need to have an eBoss. And that's in the law. Meaning when you register your business or renew your business every year, right? It should be very fast. Okay, very fast. It has to be fully end-to-end electronic business one-stop shop. I mean, that's a requirement. Um, and from the 1,600 plus LGUs, right? There are only roughly, in ARTA's quality standard, only 358 fully fully implemented eBoss. So marami pa kulang, right? So we already called a show cause order to them, no? So filed cases to the LGUs. But of course, with the new election, change in guard, right? So we have to fast track that again, right? So again, the goal here is to buy minutes. Just a couple of minutes, you can run. You can renew your business permits. However, if you encounter still issues, let us know. Okay? Especially with your businesses. The other effort is Artemis. As I mentioned to you earlier, we have Citizen Charter. Citizen Charter normally, before digitalization, ganito kapal yan. Oh. Parang malaki, makapal na book, hard copy. But because of digitalization, so we encourage everyone to use digital technologies. So now with Artemis, all Citizen Charter are going to be online. That's a portal, right? So all agencies dapat you have a section, you have a portal in the Artemis. The good thing about this, all their processes are documented there. So one positive thing that we can get now, we can get standard processes. Okay, we can get from different agency and then come up with us. So this is the standard HR process. This is the standard procurement process, right? And then how much more if we're going to apply AI? Diba? So with AI now, so fast, the searching, the recommendation, it can provide you that capability and much more, right? So we're working on that. And then the second one is BIBRIS, Philippine Business Regulation Information System. This one is a game changer platform. This platform, what we plan to do, we're starting now. All regulations will be put here, right? So all regulations. And what happens is that this can be accessed by the businesses, the citizen, right? So whenever there's a new regulation, you can review, right? So if there's going to be a new draft regulation, they can go to PIBRIS and then see that with the introduction of a new regulation, what other regulation from the past can be, I would say, taken out, right? So one, introduce one, maybe five will be taken out because of PIBRIS, right? Because of AI as well, right? We plan to put AI here. And then, of course, if you're in your, if you put up your here, electronic complaints management. There, with this system, AI is already embedded now. So we're soft launched it a week ago, but we will let you know when it's formally launched, right? So again, ECMS, Fibris, Artemis, they will be connected, integrated, right? And in the long run, ARTA envisions amplifying the impact of its initiatives on the global stage. This is why we developed the Philippine Ease of Doing Business Reform Guidebook. Launched in May 2025, okay, just last month, it serves as a national roadmap to streamline business-related processes and enhance government efficiency, aligned with international standards under the World Bank's Business Ready Framework and anchored on the principles of RA 11332, right? So watch out for this, okay? Because so we have this guidebook where will ARTA is mandated by the OP to look into this, and agencies have work plans implementing how to execute this guidebook and work plan so that our ranking globally will increase. Okay. Um, and then, of course, the guidebook covers 10 key areas from business registration to dispute resolution. It outlines clear reform targets and timelines for both agencies and LGUs. Ultimately, it aims to elevate the Philippines into the top 20% of the world's most business-friendly countries. It's a big ask, but then we have to aim high. Right? We have to aim high, driven by unified, citizen-centered governance. Okay. So before I end my presentation, I would like to share to you the various ARTA offices in our country. So we have three in Luzon, okay? One in Baguio, Pampanga, and Batangas, okay? In Visayas, we have two, Iloilo and Cebu. And I think we'll come up with one for NIR, okay? Negros Island. And then, of course, three in Mindanao. We have the Cagayan de Oro, Zamboanga, and Davao. So if we have certain branches there and then you encounter problems or concerns, let us know, right? But for now, it's just cluster. But hopefully, we will cover all regions. But how do you get in touch with us? Okay. Not that we want you to do it, but then, of course, in cases that you encounter red tape and bottleneck, let us know. And you can call us 12782 ARTA. Or again, there's a Citizens Complaint Center. Okay. However, the Citizens Complaint Center, that's the Office of the President. And then when they see it's a EODB issue, they send it to us. But you can go directly, right? or you can send email to complaints@arta.gov.ph. However, eventually, if we have our ECMS, you can go directly, right? So again, so thank you for the honor of speaking before such an esteemed group. All right. And then I hope to collaborate with everyone. Thank you, Paul.
Awesome. I'm proud of you, Gerard. He's a Gujarati graduate, so a lot of what he talked about are the things that he submitted for his revalida. So it's a good job, Gerard. We're behind you. But more important, I think we're very clear. This is a very demanding group, so we will be your police on the ground. But we would like to get your direct number, if you don't mind, okay? Because I know June Palafox, we have a lot of things to talk about. Yeah, and of course, Tito, Panilio, and everyone. But the point is, I think it's growing. I really happy to note that the government is really doing a lot of things. It's very seldom we hear people like them doing this kind of thing, but it's not isolated. ARTA, BIR, Supreme Court, Central Bank, they're actually digitizing and digitalizing. So if you see some improvement, I think we have to get to know what they're doing. I'm very impressed with what ARTA is doing. So open to the floor right now. Charlie, yes. Mike, please. Yeah, after you. Wow, like it. We have enough time. Go ahead.
Very much, Undersecretary. I'm Charlie Rufin. I'm a Rotary member. I don't know if you're aware that the land titles of Fort Bonifacio, I have an annotation. It's a list pendants on the jurisdiction issue. That's been settled by the Supreme Court. But right now, no titles can transfer. We cannot get clearances from banks on financing because the list pendants is still there. And even though it's already public knowledge, there's a decision, nothing's happening on the ground.
Thank you, Mr. Rufino. So this is between the Makati and Taguig, right?
Makati and Taguig, but the
Yes.
Supreme Court has decided, right?
Right, right. So definitely, we'll discuss with the secretary. We may need to convene with the two mayors, right? So it needs to execute no? Kasi since there's a decision already from the Supreme Court, they have to execute.
Yeah, I think whoever is handling the register of deeds to remove the list pendants just has to get some order that it's been resolved.
Thank you. Sige, sir.
We'll take
we
note.
can do that. Yeah,
We'll
we'll
follow
take
up,
note.
Gerard. Tito first, then
Yeah.
Rodrigo, and then Bimbo. I will give a chance. Yes, Tony, your number 4. And then we will reserve the last for you, June.
Welcome, Undersecretary. And of course, we welcome very much the innovations and the changes you bring about into these initiatives that have been mentioned by all the presidents past.
Yeah.
And we're still heavy with burden with bureaucracy and red tape. Bear with me, Undersecretary. I'll just mention.
Sure, sure.
This is already grounded. This is what we experience as businessmen and as investors. One, it was fairly simple to deal with government, LGU especially, in the past. Now, with these embellishments added in the PPP law, now it has become so difficult even for a small project, to go through because they're starting to invoke, we're covered by the PPP. And the PPP is a long drawn process. It can, we've been through that. It can take a year to 2 years to finish one PPP. Now, even small projects, they're saying, are covered. I hope something can be looked at and there could be a limit in terms of criteria.
Yeah.
Like for example, projects, let's say, where the government does not even contribute any investment. It's only the cooperation needed because they give out the permits. Why does it have to go to a joint PPP where so many things are analyzed and eventually paralyzed? So that's one, no? This is, I think, common to all property owners. transferring real estate tax tax
Let's use this.
just transferring a tax declaration from one former owner to the new owner. Whereas before, many years back, you just pay a fixed amount of 100 pesos to have a tax deck transferred. Now, you are charged a percentage of the value of that property being transferred. I cannot understand because that's in effect double taxation. Remember, tax declaration is the basis for real estate tax.
Yes.
So annually, you pay taxes already. But the one-time transfer, you're taxed as a percentage. No? Like for example, your value is 100 million pesos.
Right.
A percentage of that is a big amount. Yet, the process requires only a new tax deck being computerized, transferred from one owner to the other.
But this is additional,
Yeah,
right?
additional cost.
So that's a burden. So we can
That's a
look
burden.
into that.
Please
Yeah.
look into that
Yeah.
because
Oh.
all the cities in Metro Manila are doing it because they're all contesting, they're all joining the race to become the most profitable city. So
Yes.
just in that objective,
Mm.
they've added so many charges, so many fees, and penalties are so strict.
See.
And so the ease of doing business becomes,
Of course.
no?
It's not easy, right? So we need to look into that specific one.
Yeah,
no?
the tax
We-
declaration. I
it's
don't know, Charlie, I'm sure you're
If
aware.
you have a specific case, we can look into. Maganda.
All those
Yeah.
buying real estate condominiums, houses, you will experience
Kasi
this.
it's very good din kasi if there's an exact case, no? I mean, you can in ARTA kasi when you file complaint, you can also file if you don't want to include your name, you can file as anonymous, no? So we can do motu proprio. We can do that, right? So we can investigate, but at least very very specific, where we can run through the process.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I belong, but I'll just end with the third.
Sige.
Usec. I don't know why when you own a building, you have to be inspected after you've gotten your occupancy permit. Okay. Every year you have to be inspected, and the fees are not cheap. Okay? Inspected for electrical, mechanical, fire
LGU.
safety.
Yeah.
Every year, which I think is so redundant and so taxing that again, the ease of, let's say, investing in a real estate project becomes tedious, and then even ownership of, let's say, a condominium
Mm.
becomes difficult because you become members of the OWA,
Right.
and the OWA is the one that's paying for this annual.
Yes. So, okay. So that's happening right now. So in terms of, recommendation, what
Yeah.
would be your recommendation? Because we're looking at the building code right now. We're working with OBO, and
Well,
everyone. So
if I may
Yes.
suggest,
Yes.
probably once every 3 years is reasonable enough. But to do it every year, what can change in a year,
Hard
say,
itself.
with your elevators, with your
Yeah.
mechanical equipment,
mm, Just
they
like the
require
driver's
fire
license.
extinguishers.
Oh.
You're assessed almost every year.
for the fire extinguisher.
That's part of the annual inspection. So anyway,
Yes, sige. We'll take note of that.
yeah,
no?
just take note.
Yes.
It's really
Oo.
discouraging.
Fully
Alright.
understand. Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Tito. Next on the queue is Rodrigo, then Bimbo, and then Tony.
Yes, Usec, thank you for your reaching
Rodrigo.
talk. My concern, or the question I want to ask you is about how you are consolidating the implementation of AI in the different departments. Because according to what I understand, the leader is the one who should be in charge of that. He should commit himself to make it happen. So it's not about getting the buy-in of the people involved, that is demanding the commitment of these people. So changing heads of the agencies is going to be a challenge also to implement properly the AI effort, and that will speed up, things if things go right with the right people, or will delay a great deal the implementation of the whole thing. So how are you trying to implement a plan plan, let's say of succession, that they can take over if somebody leaves the agencies?
Right. Thank you, Rodrigo. So, I mean, that's a very good question. So, since my role under Secretary of Operations, I'm also the Chief Information Officer of ARTA. So, in terms of AI, right? So, that's a new technology right now, and we have multiple applications and systems. So, we plan to include AI. But you're right. So, there should be a mandate or a support from the highest position in the agency. That's Secretary Perez. He supports AI. So that's first. And then the second right now that I'm working on is the AI governance framework. But for now, it's just for ARTA. Because right now, there's the Secretary Rene Solidum of the OST. He has the AI governance framework also. He's working on that. DTI. So there are multiple agencies having that framework. And there's a bill that's being passed right now in Senate by Senator. Yeah. So in Senate right now, a bill on AI Governance Act, right? Cayetano, yes, Senator Cayetano. Um, the AI Governance Act. So it's very, very important, of course, that people needs to understand. They need to be engaged with AI. But for now, the way I'm doing it in ARTA is that we're building that AI governance framework. I'm also currently studying at AIM on the Chief AI Data Officer program, right? So that is gonna be my capstone as well, right? So building that capability because it's very, very important, right? AI is here, but then we need to find a way where if it goes haywire or it doesn't provide us the right information, we need to know how to switch it off. Or there should be a good risk management capability, right? So risk assessment is key, embedded in that framework. But at the same time, not too much because you're stifling innovation. So again, a balance about innovation and a slight control, right? So that you can manage it. Because right now there are different models in AI. And to be frank with you, even AI developers, they don't know what's happening when you run AI algorithms. You don't know what's happening inside, right? It just provides you the output. But you run it again, it provides you a slightly different output, right? So in terms of consistency, it's not there yet, right? So there you go, Rodrigo.
Thanks, Gerald. Bimbo, then Tony, ha? Okay. Tony, ikaw muna, Tony.
Okay.
Tony.
Mr. Was it Divinagracia, thank you for coming. I enjoyed your talk.
Thank you, Tony.
I enjoyed your streamlining, re-engineering, but I have to ask questions with regards to enforcement.
Sure.
Okay. My name, by the way, is Tony.
Yes, Tony.
My lawyer said that last name I might get into. No, I'm just joking. Tony Lopez. My name's Tony Lopez. Okay. No, June Palafox told me not to give my last name because he gets always sued by the government. June Palafox has many cases
I bet too.
with government suing him for his disclosure of corruption. Anyway, I have something to share,
Sure.
which I hope will help on the enforcement.
Sige.
Okay. I also happen to be the second cousin of Tito Panlilio. So we have similar problems. His is deeper. So anyway, let me just share some of my problems. Um, I get my surname were landed, and we have to deal with the Department of Agrarian Reform. And in many cases, they have overstepped, and so we have to file a case within the DAR, the department. And finally, we got a positive decision. Okay? And the positive decision took 12 years. Okay? For an obvious misstep in following procedures, like the procedures you had, because they had so many numerous procedures.
Yes.
So finally, we got an order uh, favoring ourselves. Okay, and then it took them 6 months to do a finality. You're familiar with that, no? They issue something, but that's not enough. They have to wait for other people to complain, and they will issue a finality. So finally, we got the finality. The odd thing is that the name Antonio was spelled as Antonia. Okay, and that's simple, very easy. So we asked for a correction because it's taken 1 year to get the correction. Yeah, 1 year, 1 year. Of course, we have lawyers that follow up. All sorts of reasons. Nabagyo, the office is undergoing renovation. Everybody's attending a seminar, and but we asked them, "What's the logbook? Where's the logbook?
Yes.
The logbook and all." So maybe, okay, maybe you don't have to. It's not right to fight the Department of Agrarian Reform because the secretary is very close to the president. So maybe you should not, every time the president travels, the secretary of Agrarian Reform is part of the ones in charge. But this is something that's going on. It's also an agency that is probably sees a limited life for itself. And so it is. Now you ask me, why do you suppose it's taken 1 year? Why? What are they waiting for, sir? To change Antonio to Antonia, do you think they're waiting for? 100,000, sir.
There you go. There you go.
Okay, all right. Yes, June, I will not file a case. June, I will not file a case. June filed a case in a suit for libel. Anyway, another one, sir. These are all live, because it has happened only recently. You're familiar with the Land Registration Authority. Again, titles were discussed by Charlie Rufino and Tito on transfer tax. Okay, Land Registration Authority has
LRA.
digitized. Everything has been digitized
Right.
and great. Okay, and then sometime a decade ago, I'm not sure, they said, this is it. From here on, everything has to be digitized. They placed a deadline on all the register of deeds to digitize. Okay? And everybody reported to the head that we digitize. All titles are digitized. Okay? Well, they didn't. They just reported that everything was digitized. And the ones they were not able to digitize, they just placed it in a cabinet because one day they will need it. Okay, so again, we are limited. So we have titles that have only 3 numbers: T123. That's how old the titles are. Okay, and I had to get a certified true copy, which should cost 500, 600 pesos. Anyway, so when we brought there the owner's duplicate title, big one. We asked if we could get a certification on the trueness of the copy. They said, "Sir, hindi pa napag-digitize ito." Okay. Why didn't you do it? Kasi hindi namin natapos noon pero ni-report namin na tapos na lahat. Okay. So the head office LRA knows that all the register of deeds have done their job. Okay? Hindi namin napadigitize. Okay. So I need a certified true copy now. It's so easy to have a certified true copy. Sir, may problema kasi hindi pasama sa data. So I said, what do I have to do then?
Yeah.
Oh, we have to bring it all the way to Quezon City. The register's copy, not our owner's copy, the registered copy, to insert it into the database.
Yeah.
I said, okay. If the certification is 500, how much is this one for certified true copy? 15,000 per hectare. Okay. So, now, if I followed you, Usec Divinagracia, and followed your electronic complaint system,
Mm.
how long before I get a response? It'll be some time. So, so I,
Martha, will respond to you in 3 days. We
in
can
3 days.
respond in
No, but
3 days. I
but
mean,
but I will not get what I want.
well, we'll work on your complaint. Right? Work on your. Kasi yan, kasi like for example, if you go to the Citizens Charter, if you go to the Citizens Charter LRA, if they said yung specific service na yan, right? They said 10 days or 5 days. They have to follow that in 5 days and the corresponding fee that's reflected there.
They can always claim we lost our copy.
No, no,
You- No, no, no,
That's-
sir.
okay.
Sir, because remember they claimed first
Okay,
many years back that we
Alright.
digitized everything.
okay.
They
Right.
didn't, so they hid it in a document in a
Mm.
vault somewhere or a
Right.
cabinet somewhere.
Yes.
And then it surfaced that aha, here is somebody who needs it. Okay.
Right.
What do? We throw the register's copy because
Then create a new one.
no,
I mean, that's the
yes,
Oh.
and he knows that I will have to go through a process of reconstitution.
right.
Okay, so they
So, but
charge.
the reconstitution, how much does it cost? I mean, the normal process.
Small, but it
Small,
takes
I know.
8 months.
It takes 8
8 months.
months.
And all I need is a certified true copy that my my
Yeah.
title is original.
So what?
So I'm just saying they know the work, sir.
Right, right. Kasi I know LRA, they went to ARTA. They went to ARTA and then showed us their digital platform. And then when I looked at it, it's not streamlined. It's not streamlined. It's just that in-automate lang nila yung lumang process nila. Diba? So it's not really streamlined process. So we have another session with them.
Sir,
We will do a workshop with them.
sir,
Oh, yeah.
if I may,
Go ahead.
can you ask them if they are certain that everything was included in the database?
All right. Sige,
That
I
they
can
have
ask
not
them.
set aside,
Sige.
okay, or not something.
Oh.
It's them,
Oo.
but them getting the assurance from the lower ranks that
Mm.
they actually complied with the head office requirements
Sige.
and not.
I can do that. Yes, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, please. Thank you very much, and
Thank
I'm
you.
sorry,
Yeah.
and you can forget my name because I don't want to be.
It's okay.
Just joking, Jun.
Tony, I will
Thank
give
you.
you his direct line just in case. Yeah. Right?
Thank you, Tony.
Okay. Now, Gerard, that's only a warm-up because I'm calling now June Palapok and Bimbo Muna with 10 other complaints. So, not about what you're doing, boss, but, it's the...
Okay, this is very short and very
Yeah.
general, so it's easy to answer. Okay, there is such a thing as PESA. There's such a thing as Immigration Office. There's such a thing as BIR. Their processes are very difficult to finish. Okay? And to what extent do you insert yourself there or take over from there? For example, PESA promises approval of this investment. I don't know anymore how many days, but
Right.
we have many investors who complain
Yeah.
that after Lila de Lima left, it's more complicated now. No? So I don't know what is true. But to what extent does ARTA get involved with those three agencies? Also, the forms. Many
Right.
government forms are so unmanageable to use. I think has to be also
Simplified.
reviewed from that point of view.
Right, right.
And then lastly,
Sige.
local government, to what extent do you get involved? Because each local government has its own territory, okay? And I
Right.
guess,
Right.
for example, getting a simple entrepreneurial guy who wants to put up a small business,
Right.
somebody was complaining to me, okay? He's cooking things in his house,
Mm.
and then he couldn't get even the basic form because his house is not for a business area, that's a residential area. But things like that, here we are pushing for entrepreneurship
Right.
at the lowest level.
Yeah.
Why would we require? It has to be your area should be a business area before you can be given a certificate of business operations. Things like that. I guess the key point is that's a monster problem. But to what
Yeah.
extent are you going into that already at this time?
Yes, we are engaged with that. You can engage actually with us. No? So sometimes you just have to, like, for example, if there's a businessman or investor and then they're having problems and issue, call on ARTA, right? And then it doesn't have to be even complaint. No? You call us and then there's this business problem, challenge right now. And what we can do, we have a special mandate that we can call agencies. We can call PESA, we can call immigration, we can call other agencies, even LGUs, to sit in one conference and then discuss what are the challenges. And then what we do is after that, maybe we can come up with a JMC, Joint Memorandum Circular, right? Or MC for this specific end-to-end process. So that's why our approach is it's very difficult if we're going to attack one agency service or process. We attack it on a service, right? What is that we want to develop? If it's an investment on what particular sector, right? On a particular sector, then we will see the handoffs from the different agency. So, sir, so engage with us. So, I mean, the secretary is really very open when it comes to this initiative, right? So we can be part of that, right? So there, our door is open. Mr. June Palafox. I know we see each other every event, every ambassador event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Yusuf, Gerald. Just to share, I was just in Dubai, 55 permits through the internet. Business permit within 30 minutes. Even building permits, they
Yeah.
save on trees, wala ng blueprint, they save on traffic, they save on coffee and tea. Kasi
Yes.
they serve you. In 77 till 81, I was invited, named Heart to help plan the desert town of Dubai. And the rule of Dubai instructed us, what is good for business is good for Dubai. Kaya walang approve by. No objection, no objection. No. If you do, nothing happen in 2 weeks, automatically approved. Kaya I think we could adapt that here. Then kay Tony, I keep sharing with them, fighting corruption is a corporal works of mercy. Because the worst sufferers of corruption are the poorest of the poor. And what I learned in the seminary, if you see something wrong, you do nothing, it's a sin of omission. Thank you very much.
Thank you, John. Thank you, John. Yes, definitely that's the goal also of the president, right? So to ensure that bureaucracy, and yun naman yung comment din ni Secretary Go, right? So he's going out with the president, getting investors, but then he also, from his insight, is that our bureaucracy is really tightly coupled, very difficult, no? So red tape is really rampant, and so that's why we need you as the front line in terms of business. Let us know, kasi we function based on triggers. Okay, we have the capability, we have the mandate. Let us know what's the challenge, what are the problem. We're working with the ICT in terms of business, starting a business like 10 minutes. In 10 minutes, we should be able to renew our business permit or come up with a business permit, right? So the problem is there are some regulations anchored in the law, right? It's not easy to repeal or unscramble them right now, right? But we are aware of it and we want to find a way through legal means kasi syempre ang dami nating abogado, right? In the government, in the country, right? So it's difficult to untangle that. Tingnan mo, in Singapore, roughly they have what? 500 plus
500.
regulations?
We have 22,000.
Exactly.
More than 1,000 are stupid, obsolete laws.
22,000. And that's the essence of PIBRIS. Kasi once all our regulations are there, now we can see redundancies. What are the regulations that we can repeal? We will recommend that to the office of the president. There you go.
Okay, the last very brief question from Ronnie. Promise you, very short.
Good afternoon, Usec Gerald. Thank you very much for your very good presentation. I am Ronnie Siasoico. I commiserate with my dear friend Tony. I may not have as much problems as he has because I am not as landed as he is, but I have the same problem with LRA. Exact. But I've already brought it up to the
Did you file?
yes, I have.
Did you file to ARTA already? Okay.
With Usec Jean. And I spoke
Jean.
to Secretary
Perez. All right. There you go.
about it. And anyways, but my question is not about that because it's been was this discussed already? I'm sure and I'm aware that LRA is the champion of all the champions in in ARTA cases. They have the most number of
Oh.
cases. Okay. Anyways, my question is more general and about funds. Right now, if you take a look at all of the government agencies all across the country, the level of um, absorptive capacity is quite low. Okay. And when you start analyzing our the government's performance, it actually has a direct impact to how one government performs, and two, how it affects GDP. One example, there is a line department, for example, that has experienced in the last year absorptive capacity of below 30%, and it was already July of the year. 30%. By September, it was at 35%. Okay. And this is not a unique situation among the different line departments. And there are only two agencies of government that has very high absorptive capacity, 98, 99%. Only two. How does ARTA propose to improve absorptive capacity in the different agencies? And what is the program? And how is ARTA actually helping the other agencies to improve their absorptive capacity? I mean, just to explain, absorptive capacity is the ability of an agency to spend the funds that has been authorized under GAA. Okay. You have to understand that all of these agencies ask for these budgets under the NEP, and it is approved through the budgetary process, and it comes out with a GAA, which is then implemented by the different agencies. There are a lot of agencies that has very dismal absorptive capacity.
Okay. So the
Very
question is,
What is ARTA's
Absor-
role in
Yeah.
improving absorptive capacity
Right.
of the
and what
government
of the government agency? Okay.
Sure.
Thank you, Ronnie. All right. To answer directly your question, we don't actually monitor that, but that's DBM, right? So maybe indirectly, I would say, in the capability development that we do, like what is this? We train them in terms of streamlining their processes. It's more of operations, right? So streamlining their processes. And sometimes some agencies, they will say, we're having problems. We're having problems internally in terms of our process. So case to case, we do a 3-day workshop with them to improve their support processes. In effect, indirectly, um, we're not tracking yet the absorptive capacity, but of course, if they're religious in applying the streamlining of operations and processes, there should be an effect in the way they operate. Yeah, pero in terms of directly monitoring the absorptive capacity, I don't think that's part of our mandate directly. It is the mandate of the BM though, Department of Budget and Management.
Yeah, but I think this is something that has. I discussed this with
Uh,
Secretary Perez also.
So, sorry, Ronnie, I hope you don't mind. Could we follow up because that's a very important thing.
Yes.
After this, you could join and have
Yes,
okay, all right. So I guess at this point, I just want to say there are more questions that are left unanswered, but don't worry. We'll give you a straight line to Gerard so that he can address our more specific needs, right?
Yeah.
Let's give a big hand, Gerard, okay?
Thank you.
Sorry, it's kind of hot here, but you did a great job. Salamat, you're a
I have
great
my
sport.
QR code for my calling
Ayan,
card,
oh.
so you can scan it later.
Ayan ha, sige. I'm in charge of disseminating that. Sige, salamat. So, right now, I will just give our president his prompt response, after which we will declare adjournment and then a raffle and photo offs. Is that okay? Please stay. It's not over yet. Please, President.
Okay, thank you again, Undersecretary Divinagracia, for gracing our occasion. Medyo mainit ng panahon ngayon. No? But again, you have an unenviable task of really, easing our countries, because whatever you do will determine the inroads we make in corruption, foreign investments, and the confidence of people to do business in our country. So, we wish you well. Uh, as far as I know, during the last ranking of World Bank on ease of doing business, the Philippines ranked, I think, 95th out of 190. Ewan ko ilan na tayo ngayon. So, okay. So obviously, there's much work to be done, but with people like you, I'm sure we'll make inroads. So on behalf of the Rotary Club of Makati, again, we thank you, and we would like to present you with some token. First of all, our 55th basically our 55 years of existence with all our residents and flagship projects. And we also have a project in Narvacan where we put reef buds. And we're happy to tell you that one of the reef buds will be in your name.
Wow,
Thank you. Thank you.
awesome.
Okay. And while you're reading the book, you can enjoy a bottle of wine with your
Awesome.
wife.
Big-
So,
Please,
maraming salamat. Maraming salamat.
may I invite all the guests to come forward and have a picture with
Let me adjourn the meeting. Okay, meeting adjourned.
please, Ronnie, join. Everybody, please, Rodrigo, our guests, please join our officers. And while we're doing that, we're ruffling Macallan wine. So, please, okay, ayan na. Okay. Please organize. Oh, dito sa harap. Sa harap. Gerard? Okay. Dito sa harap, sa harap. Okay. Ang nanalo ng Macallan and is donating it is Pipito. Tama ba? Tito Pandillo. Parang nanalo ka. Macallan. Okay, sige. Donated to the